Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings, and welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack Podcast, Lost Signals episode. How are you doing today, Donnie?
Waking up, getting there.
Waking up, yep.
Got my tea going. Yep.
I got my coffee going. I stayed up very late last night playing Oxenfree Lost Signals. Yes.
Oh, wow. I did not play Lost Signals yesterday.
Did you play it?
I've played some. Yep.
Okay, that makes me feel less bad because I played half of it.
That's probably
I did half of my homework, Mr. Reese.
I'm somewhere-ish. I've probably played a couple hours or so, but yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
what do you think of it?
I don't like it as much.
Wow. Okay, as soon as you said you didn't finish it, I was wondering if you were going to say that or if you just got busy. I like it more than the original, I think. It's been some time since I played the original, and I actually felt like I had before I started the game, and then when I realized that there was going to be some overlapping with the first game, I Googled and kind of did a refresher of the first game to remind myself. And I'm like, I really don't remember that happening. I don't remember that happening or that or that. So I'm glad that I kind of brushed up on it and what that plot was again. Because I really only remembered the mechanics of the first game. I didn't really remember too much about the story. But I'm fine, and I enjoyed the first game a lot, but I'm finding myself really enjoying Lost Signals, and I'm very curious to know why it's not hitting for you.
I mean, I don't particularly know why. It feels much more, it feels more of the same, I guess, in a way that it's not really, I guess, differently from you. I remembered, I guess, the gist of Oxenfree. I'm pretty sure I don't know all the details, but I remember really liking Ren and Nora? Was his love interest?
Yeah, I think so. Yes,
Yeah.
Nona for Ren's love interest.
And I liked Alex, and I remembered that. So when I get into this, I'm like, okay, so we're doing a lot of the same thing, but we're doing it with new characters. Honestly, I think it comes down for me. Probably not a popular opinion. I can't stand Jacob. He will not shut up. He just keeps talking. I'm like, if I could dump him off a cliff somewhere, I would.
You're not supposed to like him at first, I don't think.
Okay, well, it's working. And the dialogue, yeah, I'm just not. I don't know. I'm just not as into it. I'm craving fast travel. Or a checkpoint or something. I went and completed a task, and I had to basically walk back to where I started. Yeah. And I think these things, they do this. It's basically like a walking sim, even though it's not 3D. They do this so you have this dialogue, right, as you're taking these 5-minute walks. Mm-hmm. But if you don't like the dialogue, that 5-minute walk is unbearable. You're just oh my God, this is terrible. So I went walking back to where I was going, and I'm looking at the map, and I'm like, okay, I guess I just got to go back the way that I came. It only really looks like there's one way up here. I must have taken a wrong turn. I did take a wrong turn, and I just went walking for 10 minutes with this guy and his little quips, only to then reach a dead end and then figure out oh, I went the wrong way. Now I got to go back. I got to walk 10 minutes back to get back to where I started.
It's a small map.
They walk so slow. Everything's so slow. It's
very slow.
I did walk back. So forthright, just let me come clean. I did walk back. I quit the game. I was I don't know if I want to play this anymore. But I did get back in. I did walk back. I played the game for maybe another 30 minutes, and then I went to bed. And since then, I've had zero urge to. I don't think I want to play it anymore. I don't want to force it. I feel like maybe I have. I don't think
Mhm.
if we weren't doing this podcast, I don't think I would have played it. Like, it's not that I wouldn't have. I was excited. I would have bought it anyway. I already did. I pre-ordered it. It's just like it's not what I want to play right now.
Right, that's
You
fair.
know, like I'm excited for Pikmin. I'm playing Cyberpunk. Like there are things that I want to play,
A
and
lot
this
faster
isn't.
paced games.
Like this isn't it. This isn't what I want to play right now.
You need to be in the right mood for
Yeah.
the kind of narrative game that this
And
is.
I feel like I'm not. Like I feel like from the start, it wasn't something like I really wanted to play.
Mhm.
And I'm just kind of playing it so we could have this conversation. And I think that made it worse. But also, I don't think I'm digging the characters and the story as much as I did then, or at least
See,
I just
I'm
think
the
that-
opposite on that one because I felt like in the first one there were too many characters for me to keep track of right off the bat. Like they gave you
I don't
your
remember
friend
them all either,
Ren,
yeah.
they gave you your new stepbrother, they told you that you had a dead brother, then you had
I
your
remember that
friend's like girlfriend crush, and then you had your stepbrother, your dead brother's ex-girlfriend, and like there were just like so many. I was like trying to remember everybody right off the bat. It was too much for me at once. With this one, you start off with just two characters that you have to remember. This mysterious Evelyn on the phone, who I never trusted right off the bat, by the way. I didn't finish it, so I don't know if like she's good or bad, but like I just have like bad feeling about her from the start. And Jacob, who I think is, you know, supposed to be this annoying character that, you know, you don't really want a partner for this task. You're assigned one anyway. You're kind of stuck with them. He's not too smart. He's a little bit scared. Your character is a badass Riley. She can like scale mountains without any fear. I had her jump over
I like her a lot.
a gap and she fell and she's like, nah, I'm good.
Are you playing her like super mean? Like I'm just being like super mean the whole time.
I'm being like very snarky, like nice when it matters, but like kind of picking on him when he's like not being as cool as I am.
Mm.
But I like her. Her voice for some reason reminds me of Miley Cyrus, so I'm just like pretending that she's like Miley Cyrus this whole time.
I can get that.
Yeah. Yeah, she's cool. I like her a lot. I think I like her better than Alex in the first game. She's very cool, and I like the little flashbacks that we're getting about her family and piecing that together. What do you remember? What time you got up to? I got like up to 2 a.m. when I stopped.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit past that, just a little bit. So
I think the last thing that I did was
roughly around the same area.
Yeah, I found out a little bit about the parentage. Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. I remember getting to 2 a.m. I don't know if I got to the next check mark or not.
Yeah.
But I remember.
I think I quit right at 2, like when it said 2 a.m. Because I found out about the parentage, and just to me, it's like I didn't totally understand it. Is it like a religious cult? Like they're thinking that this is going to lead them to salvation? Is that what
that was my
it is?
basic?
Okay.
Like, yeah, I was kind of like, okay, so we've got like this cult group. You know,
Okay.
again, not being really into it. I'm not like I wasn't like on the edge of my seat, like really paying a lot of attention. Just kind of like, okay, this is the gist. Let's keep it moving.
It does feel like a lot, like very similar to the first game, like you said, like more of the same. For me, with like a sequel, that very rarely bothers me when it's more of the same, because if I want to play the sequel, to me that means I liked the first game and I want more of it.
Certainly. And
so I like that it's more the same, and I like the like screen effects that it does, like the little glitchy, like that's I played
those
it
are
last
incredible.
night, like, real late at night. I can only imagine people playing this on Netflix and like not knowing like what to expect and like having that happen on their TV. It must be so cool.
Yeah, I was going to say something nice. I think the game looks really great. I think visually it hits different on the OLED. Everything just feels a bit brighter and glowier and things than I remember it. I do love. That was the only reason I'm really even considering keep playing is the glitchy animations and the time loops and the warps and the splits and stuff. Like you have to imagine that they're trying, like it would be a mistake for them not to make like a Stranger Things version of this game.
Yeah, right.
Because it's just begging to be done. And I'm with you. I don't think sequels need to differentiate themselves too much. I just think when you have such a narratively focused game, you know, like when I get like with the sequel, I wasn't that I was expecting it to be something different. I just was expecting it to grab me in a different way. It's harder to pull off the same trick twice. I
Right,
guess.
right.
Like, I don't feel that way when I'm playing something like a Mario or a God of War, something that's gameplay intensive, because I'm playing it because I like the gameplay. With this, I'm just walking around. So how are you grabbing me differently? Like, like there's it so far what I've experienced, it's the glitch, it's the time loop, it's this, like, it's the same thing. I'm like, okay, so like if I don't like the character and I'm not into the story, like, what is there different here and there's not. I think that's
Not much. Yeah.
I think that's what I'm tripping over.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's a fair criticism. We were hoping to have Delvin come join us. Have you talked to him at all about what he thought of the game?
No, we haven't spoke since Wednesday. He told me he was coming. He messaged me he was on the way. He's still not here. So, everybody wants Delvin. This is what happens.
We told him that he can crash the show if he maybe overslept or wants to join in. I'm very curious about his thoughts. I didn't know that he liked the first game so much. So
yeah, I imagine he'll come and tell us that he loves it, as he does. If you haven't, it's like a recurring joke on PSVG.
Positive Delvin energy.
It's a recurring joke on PSVG. He just loves everything. I love it. It's just like
he's simple, very easy to please. I like that. I like that positive energy where you go in and you're just enjoying the experience. I like that. I need to.
Yarden was trying to get me. He was like, "Just finish. It's not that short." And I was like, "But I don't. I'm bored. Like, I don't want to."
I need to kick you off and bring Delvin in permanently.
Yeah, he'd love that.
No, I'm just kidding. I love Delvin, but no. What have you been up to besides Oxenfree then? I can't imagine that was all you played this week.
Yesterday I played like 3 hours of Mario Maker.
Wow, what made you jump back into that?
That is feeling nostalgic. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Seeing Mario again. I don't know. I was just in a Mario mood. I was messing with my Wii U. I was jumping through some different games and just kind of clicking around. I played a little NES remix. Okay. And I booted up Mario Maker. And to be honest with you, I think I was just wanting to see if like Course World was still open. Mm-hmm. Did you know that it is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought that they had shut it down or something a long time ago. I'm not sure if maybe they shut something down of like, maybe I was thinking of Mario Maker 2 or something. I thought something had been shut down.
So for the Wii U, they have temporarily paused, I put that in quotations because it's been a really long time, the Splatoon 1 and I want to say Mario Kart servers because of a vulnerability exploit. And so you can't play online for those. And I can't imagine that they're prioritizing fixing it because it's the Wii U, which is a shame because those are the two most interesting multiplayer games on the Wii U, sure, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that the Mario Maker courses are still up and running because that is seemingly the better Mario Maker game. There's a reason you probably picked up that one instead of Mario Maker 2.
Is that me or you?
I was just moving my mic. I'm sorry. That was me.
Did you move it closer to your cell phone or
to my cell phone?
I just getting. Is it just me or is chat? Can you hear that too? I'm getting a ton of like radio wave static.
I don't hear that. Maybe it is me.
Okay, chat can hear it too. It just went away, like in the last 4 seconds. I pushed all of my.
I moved it away. I moved it away from me, so maybe it was me.
Okay. Yeah, I was excited to see the course world is open. I have all the event courses downloaded. I did that before, like the first time they said they're going to shut it down. So I was going through those. Like I pulled out the amiibo and was having fun playing Pokemon courses and Zelda courses and the Professor Egad Mario Maker level. Mario Maker was so fucking cool in a way that Mario Maker 2 never was. And it is a shame. It is such a shame.
I literally just this week wrote an article for Twinfinite about Switch games that need DLC. And that was like my driving point home that Mario Maker 2 is the game that like needs the features from the original that just weren't included for some reason. The amiibo support, like
amiibo.
I just feel like that was.
If you could do really amiibo with more palette swaps, because Mario Maker was just the NES. It had the amiibo. You couldn't do it with Mario Bros. You couldn't do it with Super Mario. Like, you couldn't do it with all the extras. If they had made just Mario Maker 2, but they had taken Amiibo and added it to all of the different levels, oh my, like that alone would have been warranted of such a sequel. Just that by itself. I hope one day we get a Mario Maker 3. I don't feel like we will, but I kind of hope that one day we do.
I think we will. I think we definitely
so?
will. Yeah.
Because it was so good.
Yeah.
And then I just started, I played the 10 Mario challenge, and then I just started playing levels. I just went into Course World and hit the little shuffle thing, set the difficulty to normal, because I'm not playing, because some of this stuff is so damn hard. And I just started playing some Mario levels. I guess I was just kind of like not in the mood to think real hard. I've had a stressful week, Rebecca. I'm having all kinds of home repairs and leaks and stuff. It's going to require lots of fixes. Yeah, so I'm not super happy. Didn't have the best car update on my restoration project. So I think I was just looking for something comforting, and Mario was like that. I was just like, let's get the Amiibo chips out and let's just have some fun playing Mario.
Yeah, I get like that a lot too. And I feel like that is definitely a comfort game for you, and, the kind of thing that you can jump back into at any time. And I like that it's literally, quite infinitely endless, because there are millions of levels that you'll never play. And yes, some of them might be very hard, some of them might be very easy. There's probably only, a certain amount of really, truly good levels, but there's a challenge there. You can keep going over and over again. And it is a shame that Mario Maker 2 didn't have that same love that the first one had.
And so they had a Mercedes level, a Southwest Airlines level. Maybe not the best
cool
in hindsight, but like at the time, Southwest was great.
Yeah. Was it?
And I'm just like thinking, like, man, they were doing things like that on Wii U, and then it suddenly stopped. And I'm wondering, like, were they doing that out of necessity because of the state of the Wii U, or did it not go well and they just stopped doing it? Or is it just unrelated? They tried it and it didn't work, and then they just stopped. But
I think they were desperate for any kind of connection and advertisement at the time.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was probably, I think that and the Super Nintendo Classic was kind of a necessity, right? Like they were almost kind of forced into it because of the state of their system. But what a little, I love my little hacked Wii U. It continues to pay dividends, and here we are all these years later, and I'm still booting it up every now and again.
I'm glad that you were able to get enjoyment out of that game after a not so great week.
I wanted to go in, and I downloaded maybe 20 more levels. I want to fill up my Course World before they turn it off. So I may dive back into like some of those there used to be Mario Maker like websites where they would catalog levels and tell you like which ones were good and had rating systems and stuff. I may have to look up one of those, and because there's not a whole lot of spots to fill. I don't know. I think off the top of my head, maybe like 50.
What is that? You can save the worlds that you enjoy playing, or save the courses that you enjoy playing, and make a world.
Yeah, but you only have so many save slots. I'd like to fill mine up before they turn it off.
Yeah, so that you can have them and play them, whenever you want. 10 years down the line, you can go and replay those courses.
I played the E3 level, the E3 demo when it was announced. It's still really hard. I still find that really hard. Like I watched them play it, and I'm like, yeah, but it's still hard to do. So I'd like to, cool. and the Zelda stuff really like lights up gets me excited. It really gets me going, because I hit the little amiibo, and then you get the little Zelda da 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 da.
I think that's the only one that they added in the sequel, Zelda, right?
I didn't know that was in the sequels. That's in the sequel.
He's here.
You made it. Just get here whenever you want, Delvin.
Delvin, we can't hear you.
Mic doesn't work either. Jesus, what a mess.
Okay.
There we go. You can hear me now.
There it is.
There, yes.
First and foremost, Donnie knew I was out of town. Hello, Rebecca. How you doing?
Look at this. First and foremost, Donnie. How you doing, Rebecca? You do realize I'm still in charge of the show. Okay, sir?
No.
You need to come correct.
Bring him back. We love Delvin.
Absolutely not.
Delvin, you are just in time. So
Awesome.
Donnie and I were talking about Oxenfree Lost Signals just a little bit ago, and we have quite different opinions about it. And I would like you to guess what I thought so far. We've both played about half, what I think and what he thinks. Go.
Donnie hates it. You like it.
Yes. He hates
don't
it. He
hate
says it's
it.
the worst
Donnie
game.
thinks it's boring.
It is kind of boring.
I've heard your
Go for
hate.
it.
Yes, I think Donnie thinks it's boring.
Yeah.
The thing about Oxenfree, even the last one, it takes a little bit of time to like ramp up. But once it ramps up and you start getting into the story, this is not like Doom or Halo where you have like this 30-minute action sequence. This is a slow-paced game that has very conversation-heavy base that you have to really get into the story before you kind of get into the game. I think that's the cool thing about the game. Like once you start getting invested into the characters, you kind of start enjoying it and loving it. And that's how I felt with the first one. The first one, I immediately started loving things like that. This one, I'm like maybe 2 hours into it. I'm starting to get the feel of the story. I'm starting to dig it. It's slow paced, so I get why Donnie's like, I don't get this. This is not for me.
I think we kind of chalk that up to him just not. You don't want a narrative game right now.
I played and enjoyed the first Oxenfree. I'm very aware of the formula.
Yeah, but that
I don't like Jacob.
Like I said, this
I just don't like Jacob. Like I really don't like him.
There's a problem with that. Then.
I really don't like him. Like I hate his voice. I'm tired of hearing him talk.
Well, then that's a problem because you're gonna hear a lot of him talk.
Yeah,
but
if there was an option to like kill Jacob, I'd be pulling that trigger right now. I'd be pulling that lever.
Pushing him
You've
off
got to go.
the bridge. Well, I said I don't think you're supposed to look at that first. I think you're supposed to find him as like this annoying character you're supposed to do this this job with. You're stuck with him, but I think he's supposed to grow on you, and I guess that just hasn't happened for Donnie.
It is not happening. So many of his lines just land awkward. In half the time, I choose not to respond because I'm just like, I'm not even gonna address this. I'm just gonna let this happen.
Yeah, it's this awkward relationship that I guess you have to build up on. I get what you're saying. He comes off a little bit like how do I say this nicely? Like he's never been around many people, so he's like socially awkward in a really weird way.
Cringe.
The way that he introduced himself, but reminded us about who he was. He was like, I don't know if you remember that time in algebra class in high school, but like, your friend I used to date her. Like it was just like very you're right. He is very socially awkward.
Yes, and it comes off away in the game. I guess if you don't pay attention to it, like, oh, he's just socially awkward. You kind of like, oh, this guy's not likable. But he's growing on me. There's some things I think that kind of annoyed me so far about the game, but it's nothing major. Like, there's a part in the game where you have to go into the what's the house, the general store.
Yeah.
And like it's early in the game, and when you go in, they don't show you the inside of the general store. Like,
I thought my game was broken. I thought it glitched.
I did too.
Because there's other houses that you do go in and you see the inside of the house. And I thought mine just didn't load the inside of the general store. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? You just don't see your character, but you're still supposed to move and find the things.
Exactly, which makes it really awkward and weird and unnecessary, honestly.
Yeah, I had a weird spot with that. I didn't think it glitched or anything, but you have to interact with an item, and I was trying to interact with the item, and I would like walk towards it, and I would see the bubble, and I would click it, and the bubble would disappear, but nothing would happen. But what it was is I wasn't walking towards it enough for like the bubble to fully highlight.
Oh,
so then I could click it, and I must have did that like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 times. We're talking the span of like 10 seconds. But I remember just being like, okay, well, this is weird. Like, if you're hiding the view from the player, but like we have to interact with things, like maybe make this a little easier to deal with. Yeah, like maybe just like let me interact with the item as soon as I see it. Not like it was like you got to get closer. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're gonna obscure things from the player, it has to be like a narrative point to it. So if it's not a narrative reason to do it, then why do it?
That's true.
That kind of annoyed me a little bit. Then there's one part of the game that kind of I don't want to call it a story moment, so I can spoil it because it's not really a spoiler. Throughout the game, you're talking to Evelyn, right? So I get past a certain section, and when she says like, "Oh, call me anytime" and stuff like that. So after that, I call her.
And she's
And
like,
she acts
shut
she
up.
doesn't know who the heck- No, she's like, I don't know who you are. Stop calling me. And hangs up. I'm like, huh?
Well, I think
And then,
that's
like-
supposed to be that she's in her own kind of time loops too,
Yeah.
right?
That's how I took that. I know that moment, and I was thinking the same thing. Like, we're in another.
But this is the catch to that. 2 seconds later, Jacob calls her, and it's like nothing happened. Like,
Yeah.
I hang up. Jacob calls her immediately. He's like, oh, hi. And it's just like, I'm like, okay. You just didn't know me 2 seconds ago. What's going on?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of those like kind of optional like contacts that you can get to call other people, and I'm just kind of for the most part ignoring those. Like I found 2 other people on the radio, not the radio, the walkie-talkie that I can call and just like buzz into every once in a while, like if I want to, I guess if I need help or want advice or something. And I just have like I got their contacts and I have not called them once.
You get the guy's backpack?
Yeah.
I wanted to, and I had that dialogue. I was on the phone with him, and then I walked into a cave, and that's when he mentioned like his backpack, and I'm like, oh, I know where that is now. And so I wanted to go back, and the game wouldn't let me go back because like I was already kind of on the story path. So I just like was not able to go back.
Yeah, I did
So
that.
I didn't get his
Okay.
backpack. But then I called him later, and I like told him I couldn't find your backpack, and he was like, oh, it's okay. Like just feel free to call me at any time, and I'll help you out.
It was funny because I got his backpack and it wasn't that rewarding either. It definitely isn't
I
worth
think I got
walking
the
down there.
same outcome for not finding it.
I remember when I did it and I was like, really? Okay. And
Yeah.
like that's again just another thing to add on to. I'm like just sitting there playing it like, really? All right. Well,
So Delvin, what do you think about Riley, the main character?
I think she's cool so far. I think the story's interesting. I think I like the idea of as you talk to Jacob, you can unlock more of her story and why she's in the town and things like that. And based off the conversations you have, you can kind of spin it the way you want it feels like. And
Donnie
I
said
kinda-
that
I
he was
kinda dig
making
that.
Riley a mean bitch.
dude, I am totally to Jacob, all the bitchiest reply
Oh,
possible.
I was gonna.
And sometimes
I was gonna
that's
ask
no
that.
reply at all. He'll say some dumb
I was
shit and
gonna
I'll
ask
just be
that.
staring at him like just
Because there's a one part when you get to his house and he asks you a question, and you can just crush his spirits if you want to.
yep, I did that. Like I said, I'm trying, like those narrative Man of Medan games you like so much, when I'm like trying to kill,
Yes.
like I'm trying to kill off characters. That's me in this
Yes.
game. I'm like, how do we get rid of him the fastest? Maybe
Aw.
if I make him cry, maybe he'll just leave. I don't know. I'm trying.
I hope that it affects the game.
I think it will, because every once in a while I see him get like a little, it's not like a heart, but like, how it makes like a little box with your
Yeah.
face on it. I think
Yeah.
that means you get a friendship point for him. For that
Yeah,
character. I think.
I'll be really interested to see where Donnie ends up in the game. And where
Oh,
we
I
end
don't
up
think
in
I'm
the
going to
game.
keep playing. I think I've
Oh,
more or less
no.
decided I'm good. Like I'm
Did
not
you
that
finish
far
it,
away.
Delvin?
It'd probably only take me an hour or so to beat it, but I don't know if I even want to do that right now.
Did you finish it?
No, not yet. I'm only like maybe 3 hours in.
Okay.
We're all kind of
Yeah,
in the
I think that's
relative
about
area.
what we did. Yeah. We got to 2 a.m.
Yeah,
I
that's
stopped right
about
at
the same
2
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I like
I'm
the little
enjoying it.
flashbacks.
Yarden
I like
gets
the
me.
glitches, the
Yeah.
where the whole screen flickers. I love the time loops. I love me some time looping and some time travel mechanics.
Let's do
games.
Yeah, I do too.
time warp again.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I'm digging it.
Me
but
too, Delvin.
I understand what it is, and I understand what I was getting myself into. I am curious, why didn't it take so long for this game to come out? It doesn't seem like it's technically a lot
That's
different than
true.
the first one.
Yeah, I was
Like,
wondering the
this-
same thing, because I think this game was announced in like what, 2018?
Yeah, something
2019?
like that.
I thought 19, but who
Maybe
knows?
19.
It's been a
Yeah.
while.
And I
think
know
it
indie
was-
games take a long time, and I know this game is longer than the first game.
Well, didn't Netflix
right.
buy them?
Yeah.
Like the
Maybe
studio?
that's
Didn't they
it.
buy
Maybe-
the studio?
Yes,
I
maybe
think
they stopped
that's
production on it.
I think that's a big reason.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
And then developing
I'm
it
enjoying it
for
so
whatever
far.
platform Netflix is.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. the one that will take over all video games eventually.
Are we all playing on Switch? Did anybody try the Netflix? Because you can just get
I'm
it on mobile for free if you have Netflix.
Oh, I'm not playing on Netflix.
Yeah, I didn't play it on.
I'm good. I have it on PS5
either.
I'm playing it on.
I should have bought it on Switch.
I should have bought it on Steam. We're all playing on a platform. We're all like, we should have bought it in the other platform.
yeah. Because I'm really like, I could have took this out of town and played it the whole. Well, I probably wouldn't have been able to play it the weekend, but could have attempted to play it during the weekend. But yeah. Because
for me, I
can only play it at home.
Had every intention of buying it on the Switch because that's where I played the first game, and I prefer to play games on Switch when they're on Switch. But then I saw that it was on sale on Steam. It was like a couple dollars off, and it wasn't on the Switch. I remembered the atrocious loading times on the Switch from the first game, and I'm like, I really don't want to have to deal with the loading times right now.
I think they're pretty decent. I think they're okay. Yeah, they're not bad. They're noticeable, but they're not bad.
Yeah.
I think maybe
I'm glad you brought that up.
I felt like doing
20 seconds.
I felt like doing the little click, 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 click for the movement.
Yeah. They got me when the game was announced. It was announced with a pre-order discount on Switch. It was like $5 off.
On PS5.
I think they put that everywhere, but when it was announced, they announced it for Switch. So I just pre-ordered it on Switch. And then later on, when I saw that the pre-order discount was coming to other platforms, like had I waited, I would have just bought it on Steam. I don't think I'm missing anything by playing it on Switch. I think I'm not having any performance issues. The load times are not, there are no issues. I actually enjoy playing it on the OLED. I think it's quite nice. But yeah, I play and buy most things on Steam these days. So if I had waited and not bought into the hype, I would have got it there.
Yeah. I am curious because I'm playing on a PS5 and it has load time on PS5. Like, why are there load time on this system? This should be way faster than anything else. But I think
it's just like built into the game at that point, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a hardware thing. It's like their procedural engine thing of carrying all of your choices and all of your things and all that. Very Telltale like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed it on PC too. Like you said, it's not long, but like maybe like 10 seconds, and it's
I think it's the same on Switch. Yeah.
I just remembered on the Switch for the first game. Maybe it was just the patch or something. It was just long. Like I was able to like get up and like freaking make coffee during the load times. It was like too much.
Yeah, I remember that too.
I used to do that.
So I'm glad they've optimized it for the second game because it was like it took me out of it. I do remember that pretty clearly. I will finish it, Delvin, and we will talk again about what we think of the ending. I really like Riley. I think she's cooler than the character that we played as in the first game. I feel more invested in the characters, I think, this time around. I'm very interested in learning about like what this cult is and like who these kids are and like, why. I personally think that whatever they're trying to do, that they're right, that like we're like kind of suspicious of them, but like they know something that we don't know. And I'm very suspicious of Evelyn. I think that she is not trustworthy.
That's interesting because I don't think I ever even was thinking that. Yeah, the whole time I was listening on the radio, I wasn't even trying to like, piece it together or figure it out. So that's an interesting thought that you've now put into my brain. I'm like, oh, I wonder.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's like pretty
nefarious means.
I don't think that would be too surprising if that's the case because she's like the only authority figure, in the game that like, she clearly knew something about this job right off the bat without telling us. Like she kind of conned us into it. And I don't think she's being very truthful about everything that's happening. And
Makes sense.
Very nonchalant about these pyramids appearing over buildings.
That's true.
Yeah,
I remember when I opened up like my first couple portals and she's like, all right, guys, you got to go up there. And I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going up there. And she's like, well, we really need you to. And I'm like, no, I'm just not.
Yeah, I kept saying no too.
Right. Why would I do
understand
this? People
are disappearing and shit. No, I'm good.
What I want to know is does nobody else, so like I've had a couple other radio contacts, like another park ranger on like, the other side of the island or something. Do these people not see the big dimensional rift that's open up over Edward Island? She's like, I've gotten other calls that like there's been some weird disturbances. Like, do people not see this happening? Like, it's huge. It's over the entire freaking island.
Yeah, that's something to be alarmed about. No police see this. No one's worried. Like, hey, maybe we should
I think that's
do something.
That's
You can see it from far away.
that's a part of its strangeness, right? Like it's Twin Peaks-ish. It's do they know? Do they not know? My favorite thing my favorite thing about the game so far is when you do run into the past characters. I think because I enjoyed like the first game maybe a little bit more. I'm liking that a lot. That would be like my one appeal to like maybe see it through. Like if somebody told me, wink wink, if somebody told me like it all comes together where the first crew like becomes really involved, like maybe if there's something like there like a payoff, I'd entertain the idea of keep playing. But if it's more of like the same, if it's more of what I've experienced so far, I'm all right.
I hope you keep playing. I want to hear your ending because there's multiple endings. I want to see what paths it leads you down. But I understand if you don't. Not for you. This one just didn't connect the way the last one did for you.
Yeah, different time. Yeah, I was playing different things at a different time. Like I just think you said the same thing I said. I feel like it's kind of more of the same, which is okay. Like that's never a bad thing. But with it being so narratively focused and not offering a whole lot more to the gameplay or the puzzling aspects, if I'm not into the narrative that they're spinning so far, I think that's like the gap for me.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Right. Where if maybe if they had differed it a little bit, maybe I would have found something else to latch on to.
I think if you had played this game at a time where you were really itching for a narrative game, you might think differently about it.
Possibly.
Probably.
Yeah. Because I know you like these kind of games, and I think that maybe this would hit different if you're in a different mindset.
And I liked the first one a lot.
And to be fair, the first one had more. That's gonna take away a great part of the experience.
I liked Rin and Nona. That's like that was like my attachment in the first one. Is I really liked those two, and I was playing the game, trying my best to like make choices for them, not even for Alex or her brother. Like who cares? He's dead. Move on.
Did you save Violet on the bridge?
Trying to
remember that part where there was a time loop and you had to convince her to not like jump off?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did too.
I did too. I ended up looking up something else and I saw that you can make dialogue choices where she jumps, which kind of reminded me of Life is Strange.
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't feel quite as impactful as that, but yeah. I like
when games do that.
Yeah, me too. Where like you can have a different outcome. Like in the first game, I ended up with one of the characters just being dead at the end. Like I couldn't save her. Yeah. And I do like that. And I want to see what the different endings are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
do too. But later Telltale's really good at that. Where especially the last season of Walking Dead, you can end up in completely different circumstances than you were than another person. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I will. I'd like to finish it this week. I have a couple other things that I need to finish up this week. Pikmin. But yeah, we will definitely talk about it, Delvin. And hopefully Donnie gets back into it. Like I said, I think you need to be in the right mindset to play a narrative type game. And there's just so many other like action packed games right now that I know you're playing and that are releasing, and that I feel like it is kind of an odd time for it to release. Like I know that we have been waiting for this game for years and years and years, but I almost wonder if this would have hit a little bit different coming out in the fall, like closer to like around Halloween time with the spooky vibe.
Yeah,
probably.
I think that's when the first game came out, like in October.
Not this Halloween though. This Halloween is stacked.
There's this Halloween. I know. But yeah, I have high hopes for enjoying it. I think so far, I don't really remember. I remember really enjoying the first game, but I think I'm enjoying this one more. So that's how I'm feeling. What else have you been playing, Delvin?
I've only been playing 2 games. Tears of the Kingdom and Oxenfree 2.
I haven't talked to you at all about Tears of the Kingdom. What do you think?
I'm still really enjoying it a lot. Like I've been playing close to 100 hours now, and still haven't gotten to. I guess I'm kind of far. I guess I've done 2 of the dungeons so far.
Okay.
I have almost all of the memories. I think I need like 2 or 3 more of those.
Okay.
I have
Are
enough
you
to get
okay, wait. Are you doing the memories in order or are you just kind of finding them as you find them?
completely finding them as I find them.
Okay.
Letting the cards fall where they may. But I'm still enjoying it. I'm like, oh, it's a great game. I'm really enjoying my time with it. It's kind of scratching that itch, and the fact that I'm still playing it now, and the only thing I'm playing now, the reason why I stopped kind of is because I want to finish Oxenfree first, because I haven't been playing anything besides Tears of the Kingdom for the past month or so. So
Yeah.
but it's great.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
enjoying it. I'm finding like new towns that I didn't know where they were at, and I'm finding like I have enough. I don't want to spoil it, but I have what I need to have to get the Master Sword.
Okay.
So I may do that soon.
Do you know how to get the Master Sword?
My son told me. Yeah, he told me how to get it.
Okay.
And then I saw something that I thought was it, and I found, oh no, it's not that.
It might be it. I was just about to say there's multiple paths.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and like I went on top and like, oh, I didn't know this was a thing. and I started. There's so many cool things that I didn't know were things in the game that I'm finding. Like, oh, this is pretty cool, and finding the different outfits and things. I finally found the guy where you can dye your suits and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I did the whole fun. I forgot what the name of the town is, where you have to help decide who becomes the mayor of the town.
Oh, in Hateno Village. Yeah. I started that
Yes.
quest, but I didn't finish it. I feel like this game, and I've said this before, is so packed with things to do. Like I start doing one thing and then I get distracted. And like Breath of the Wild was like that too, obviously.
Yep.
But like, you're very much fitting in here, Delvin, with the taking the time with this game. Like 100 hours later and you've only done 2 dungeons. I know, Donnie, you just recently finished it, but you said you still have so much more that you can do in it. I'm taking my time. Like I could go I've done all 4 dungeons, but like I'm not ready yet. Like I don't want to roll credits yet. I'm trying to do like as much as I want to do before I go and do that. Just because I felt like throughout the whole game, it's like, well, wait, I want to go to the depths, but I want to finish the side quest, but like I want to go do some more shrines, but wait, like I really want to go upgrade my armor. And like I have a hard time prioritizing all of those things just because there's so much to do.
Yeah, so much to do. You never kind of blow up in the game because it's always something you could be doing and kind of building upon. And I think that's cool. I also think it's really cool that Link is as androgynous as fucking this game. Like you can like in the Hateno Village thing, when you finish the whole quest line with that, the fashion designer lady gives you this big ass grandma hat, like the hat that grandmothers wear and stuff like that.
I've seen that.
Gaudy, it's gaudy, god awful. But I'm we're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I'm walking around fighting people with it and things like that. And then there's
it looks fashionable.
It looks utterly ridiculous.
Viral.
Yeah, and then there's so many fun things you can do in the game, like based off what you wear. Like if you go up to people and you're not wearing any clothes, you're like, oh, you're gonna wear that?
I love that. I love how much detail they put into the dialogue. I didn't experience this one myself, but I saw somebody post about how there's like a character where if you talk to him and he's like pointing out something in the distance, depending on what the weather is in the game, his dialogue is slightly different. Like he might say like, it's foggy right now, but you would normally be able to see like a shrine in the distance, or like, the sun is shining directly on the shrine, you can see it, or like it's a little bit overcast right now, so like just the dialogue is slightly different depending on what the conditions in the game are, which is super cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really cool. I would say something funny that happened yesterday. So when I was out of town, I ended up going to GameStop because I was waiting on my girl to get ready and stuff like that. So I was hanging out in GameStop, and the guy walked to me and like, hey, we just got in the Tears of the Kingdom the handbook, so you could it tell you where everything is at. I'm like, I looked at him like, fuck, I need that for. I literally said, I'm like, why would I buy this? Like, I'm like, people, they still sell like guidebooks. This is still a thing. Like we have Google.
So Delvin, Listen, my dad has been playing Tears of the Kingdom. I think he has more hours in the game than I do potentially at this point.
That's awesome.
And he really, so we've played Zelda as long as A Link to the Past has been up. You're being told to stop going to GameStop.
This is correct. This is good advice.
Well, I had no choice because I was waiting on someone, and there was no other. Well, I did go to Best Buy too. It was GameStop and Best Buy there, so I had to wait on my partner to finish doing what she was doing. So I was in GameStop.
But my dad really, I was gonna say, I would have said relies on the guide, but they had delayed this guidebook. I had pre-ordered it a long time ago because I know that he loves to use it instead of the online walkthroughs. And he surprised me by doing 3 of the 4 dungeons before the guide even arrived. So I'm like, Dad, you can do it on your own. But he likes to go through and mark off every side quest and really follow along, what you're supposed to do. The things that we would never find out on our own. That's what he likes the guide for. So he still uses it.
I like it.
It's for people like him.
Makes sense. I just kind of just going around and just finding shit.
Yeah.
I can do this.
And he does
that's
too.
cool.
He does too. Yeah.
My original Breath of the Wild guidebook still has all of
the hardcover of this guide just looks so pretty. It's a good collector's item, if nothing else.
That's why I buy guidebooks. I put them in my cubbies. They make great I put them in the back of my cubbies, and then I'll put statues or things in front of them, so they make really good backdrops and things.
Yeah.
The Tears of the Kingdom guidebook is pretty. Well, the hardcover one, the other one's whatever. I don't need this.
Yeah.
Don't try to sell me this.
But for Zelda, I've used Zelda Dungeon for years.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have my Last of Us guidebook too, with all of my original notes and stuff in it as well. Just kind of nostalgia.
I feel like with my dad, for certain things. Yeah. For certain things, it's kind of, he doesn't know what he doesn't know, so he wouldn't really know to look up certain things. But the guidebook will tell him oh, you can do this, and he'll be oh, I had no idea that you could use this for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that it helps him with. But I also just want to, before we get into the news, and I hope you'll stick around, Delvin, as we talk about this week's Nintendo news. Yeah. Before we jump into that, I want to shout out that I played the new Mario tracks. And I love the new bathroom level where it's brand new. It's not in any previous Mario Kart game, not even in Tour. It's so creative. It's filled with little references. It's the most fun track that I've played in Mario Kart in so long. It's just put a huge smile on my face. It's just so silly and so cool. You go down the sink drain and you're going through the pipes, and then you come out in the bathtub, and there's little rubber ducks with a Mario hat.
I was gonna ask. I said, did I hear that correctly? The bathroom level?
It's a bathroom. Yes, you're little and you're in bathroom. It's giant to you, and you go all through it, and you go past the little soap on the tray, and then you're going up past the laundry, the towels, and it's just so cute. It's very cute. Yeah, it's called Squeaky Clean Sprint. Yeah. It's very creative.
That's interesting. Hope they flushed.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, me too. I think you can fall in the toilet.
Oh, I do not want to play that.
It's very funny. Very, very, very funny. But yeah, let's jump into the news. We have some news coming from the Video Game History Foundation. They did a study that out of 4,000 titles surveyed, only 13% of the total games are still on the market in one way or another, whether through reissues, digital re-releases, HD remasters, or retro consoles. The rest are out of print and unplayable without resorting to software piracy. Only 13%. And I know Donnie and I feel differently on this topic about whether these games should or should not be available to the consumer, whether we're owed them or not.
I think we both agree that 13% is too low.
It's very low. And I know a lot of that
middle ground there.
Okay, that's fair. They defined classic games as any video game released before 2010. Games were considered to still be in print if they were still available for any modern platform in 2023. Remasters and re-releases counted, but remakes did not. For example, the original 2005 PS2 game Yakuza is considered out of print, even though a full remake, Yakuza Kiwami, did I say that right? Was released in 2016.
Yes.
Yeah. Out of the entire Game Boy library, which is roughly 2,500 titles released between 1989 and 2008, only 5.87, just almost 6% of them are still in circulation. The rest are only available through used game stores or piracies. And some of those Game Boy games are expensive now. They're expensive. Slightly below the survival rate of American silent films. What is that? Like silent films.
Yeah.
Like you can't access them.
Films from like
so
the
even
30s.
below that, I wouldn't even know how to access any silent film, to be honest.
I wouldn't want to access any of those silent films.
And that's weird because there's probably people out there who are distraught about the survival rate of silent films, and we're like, we don't care. There's most people probably don't care that most of these video games aren't in existence.
Correct.
That is correct.
Which is like insane.
Yeah, you still have people that clip reels together and like enjoy, old theater equipment, and definitely like that's just like the video game case to be made. There's a legacy, there's a history of the medium there that people do care about trying to, keep current.
And it's important, but I think there are some things you got to keep in mind. You got to keep in mind that a lot of those games, at least in terms of Game Boy and probably NES, were licensed games. So, I remember because I grew up in that era, so I remember the Batmans and they made a video game for everything back then. Any type of TV show or movie you watched, there was a video game for it. And I think because of licensing reasons, a lot of that stuff just isn't going to come back. I'm surprised some of the stuff is coming back that it is coming back. Like they just released Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the NES game, like a couple months ago.
That's true. I remember that one. Yeah, I mean, licensing is a good shout. I think I was. I'll wait. You read the question, I guess, and we'll start.
Okay.
The Nick's question here, is that what you wanted? Yeah, Nick just wrote in about this and wants to know if we saw the survey about retro games lost in time this week. He says, I know you've discussed this topic a few times before and even see preservation differently. So I want to ask you this. How do you think this issue can be improved moving forward? And I just wanted to say before we dive into that question, I just pulled up a list of every Game Boy game ever. And it says here that not even quite 6% of them are still in circulation in some way. There's some of these, so many that you would never even have heard of, whether for just like random licensing, like Darkwing Duck and Deep Forest World.
I love that game.
And like Dino Breeder 2. And, there's just so many of these, like, that you would never even, like Race Days, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Solitaire Fun Pack, like the Sword of Hope. Like how many of these are just like there would have no interest whatsoever if it was even put on like Nintendo Switch Online, like Toy Story. Okay. It was probably a terrible game.
Probably. Yeah, likely.
If I remember correctly, the Toy Story games, I played some of these games. The Darkwing Duck game I played and the Toy Story game I think I played too. It's just like a slower version of the SNES game. But they were doing that a lot too. They were kind of just like the Game Boy version was just a dumbed down version of the NES or the SNES game. So they're fun and they're cool things to look at.
Pocket Battle, Metal Masters. Like I'm just reading off random Game Boy games that it's like these all count as, ones that are not available anymore.
Yep.
And I do think they should be preserved. I do think that this is important. Whether the game sucks or not, whether there's like enough people who want to play, not matter to me.
Preserved how? Because that really is like the crux of this argument is how is it preserved?
Yeah.
Having a viable means to play it in 2023 without resorting to piracy.
So that's the point. That's why I'm asking. Yeah. I was quantifying how, what counts as preservation.
Well, I like a lot of the work that the Video Game History Foundation is doing by upload, like, and I know that there is a lot of piracy with, downloading ROMs and whatnot, but I think, I don't know, it's hard, because I think that it shouldn't be pirating if the game isn't available. It should be open. Like, I think after a certain point in time, maybe the game becomes, doesn't that happen for like fair use? Yeah, public domain. That was the word that I was looking for.
Yeah.
Because isn't it after so many years for movies, it becomes public domain?
If the IP right holder isn't holding the rights, isn't still using the rights. So it doesn't, it's not like this day it becomes available and everybody can use Mickey Mouse if Disney is still using Mickey Mouse.
Mm-hmm.
But it is public domain. It's how they're getting by, like Shakespeare.
Winnie the Pooh.
Things that don't have like license holders anymore and things like that. Yeah. I
like
honestly
half of those games that I just talked about, like, I guarantee you that the rights holder is not doing anything with those games anymore. Mountain Climber. Who cares? Let it be public domain.
Yeah, I wasn't going to talk about this, but Nick, your question put it on the radar. And I do think Rebecca and I have, somewhat have disagreements here. I think that not every game is equal. And I think it's a bit disingenuous for them to just count every game that isn't available and be like, see, 6%, that's not a fair number, because I'm sure if we really went through that list, man, you could omit, I won't say a percentage, but a large amount of them from of any of them having any sort of actual financial demand. Like, could it be preserved? Sure. Was it going to benefit any of them for it to be available on Switch Online or the PS5 shop? Probably not.
Well, to me, it's like real people worked on this game, and it's their work. It's, an art, even if there's not a financial demand to it. It's like,
it still comes with
like
a cost.
Books. Like somebody wrote it, somebody made it.
But to ask, and again, like books,
human creation.
Right. And like books, if you care to preserve and collect them, then you have the right to buy the original media and the original hardware to play them on.
But eventually those get lost to time. They get burned down in fires. Yeah. Yes. And my same thing, that it should be digitally preserved. It should be available for anybody to access,
I think that's
if they so choose.
I think that's
for
the
research
argument.
Purposes, for,
The argument that the foundation is arguing is that they want to be legally allowed to provide some sort of digital access to people for the storage and the use of ROMs. And I think that just comes in, that comes with its own legality. Delvin, I mean, I'm just going to shout you out here again. Licensing is a huge part of this, right? Yes. Like, there's so many licensed games. You just can't use a Batman game because you want to. Like, that's not. My other thing is, when you create a place, like, let's just say that the Video Game History Foundation gets what they want, and they get like a waiver or something. Like, you're allowed to create an online repository of ROMs. Inevitably, that will then mean that somebody will take those ROMs and try to monetize them by either making ROM systems, or by having, like a ROM repository online that you pay access to, or they'll sell, little handheld ROMs. And I'm not even opposed to that, because I do crimes all the time. I spent a ton of time yesterday doing crimes. But if you are the platform holder, right? If you are the catalog holder, if that's your IP and that represents some monetary value to you, whether it be today or in the future, right? You shouldn't have to legislate that individually with the people that are holding your rights. Like, those, you own the rights to that catalog. So I'll just say this. I agree with you, Rebecca, that it's hard, because I think it's very admirable to say what you're saying. I agree with it. I would love for it to just be allowed to be online. I think maybe some sort of public domain change where it's like, hey, if you're not holding the IP, let's say it hasn't been used in a certain amount of time, I don't know what that time would be, let's call it 50 years, whatever, like, it can then be allowed on there until you use the IP again. Something like that, a clause like that would be nice. But at the same time, I feel I just put myself legally in the other shoes, like the shoe of PlayStation or Sony or Nintendo, and you're like, wait a minute, no, that's our IP. We paid the people to create that. We want to reserve the right to use that IP again in the future to make money if we so choose. Like, you just can't use it because you think you're entitled to it. Like, we have, if you care that much about it, then buying the original hardware and the original stuff to preserve it, like the Foundation does, I think is a valid avenue. I don't think it's like, well, but we shouldn't have to. If the IP holder wants that to be the path forward, then I think that's a valid path forward.
And I think,
but how many IP holders just don't exist anymore? How many developers and publishers have been defunct over time, and there just isn't an owner to these anymore?
And with games like that going to public domain that aren't licensed, that aren't featuring a license holder, I think we'd all agree on, like, knock yourself out, you know?
And I think that's a large portion of these games.
Could be. Yeah. I think that would be fair. That would be fair.
But to Donnie's point, I think a lot of these things are coming back around. Like, for an example is the Cowabunga collection. A lot of those games were just lost in time. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we have a whole collection of all these games for you to purchase again. And
Sega collection, the Super Nintendo Mini would have never been a thing if, like, just free open internet emulation was just allowed, right? It became a thing because they were like, hey, we've made this plug and play kit with these old games, and here's a game you've never even played before. Like, that made it special. And I agree that none of these platform providers are doing a good job of providing access to, like, full backwards compatible libraries. But I do think that I think it's twofold. I think it's one, it's cost, right? And I think it's two, they're doing it on purpose. It's demand. They're building demand by withholding it.
And they're trying to find ways to monetize certain things.
Of course.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised
to make money off of it.
I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of years from now, even this year, we get a Batman collection with all the Batman games from the SNES and the NES or something like that. Like, hey, here's a go. We figured out a way to get these games to you guys. You just have to pay $50 for them all. You know, that's kind of just how it works almost.
I mean, we just saw it. We're going to talk about it. We just had a showcase where they just showcased a bunch of old games coming back again, and people are excited. People are like,
it's just like frustrating.
It's
so frustrating because, like, you know, if you aren't supposed to pirate them and, you know, you're expected to shell out, you know, possibly hundreds of dollars to play an old game, and, you know, Square Enix is sitting on these old games that, you know, haven't been brought to any modern platform. So I'm thinking Chrono Cross, that they, after 20 years, just decided to bring it back with a remaster, hadn't touched it, hadn't put it on modern platforms, you know, and before that was announced, if I was not expected to pirate it, I was supposed to, you know, shell out the money for an old PlayStation and an original copy of the game, and then then it gets announced in a couple months. Like, how would I even have known not to spend that money if it had just been, you know, available?
I have an idea that I wanted to float, if you guys will hear me out. Do you think cloud streaming might be a solution to this problem?
It could help.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, I from the IP holder standpoint, I would be like, if I were president Nintendo, I'd be super pissed if somebody was like, we want to put all your games on a server for people to download. I'm like, absolutely not. We will fight you to the end of the earth. But if the Video Game History Foundation was like, we're going to build a streaming platform where we're going to emulate these systems and we're going to let people be able to, like, virtually check out a game, but they don't get to own it. They can't take the source files. Totally on board. Like, you can do a remote access server or something just to check stuff out. I think that's a great idea.
I do too.
Yeah.
That would be very
kind of like a library.
Yeah, like a library.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. I mean,
how it should be.
Video games, the answer to Nick's question, I'm going to reread it here. How can this issue be improved moving forward? The answer is emulation. But even that comes with its own legality, right? Because you've got fans that care a great deal about being able to play their favorite games from their past, and they will put in mounds of effort into emulation. A company necessarily won't, right? Because they don't see a way to really make that financially viable. But they also can't use, like, an open source emulator to provide games on their platform, because then the people that made the emulator are going to want to check too. Right. So, like, in a lot of different ways, it all kind of comes back to money. So,
of course, money drives this world.
Right. It's just tough. It's just tough. In a perfect world, in a utopia, Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. PC does a pretty good job, but everybody else would have an emulator in their platforms that provide access to their giant catalog of back compat stuff that you could buy. That would be like utopia.
Yeah.
Right. And we saw that a little bit on the Wii. Like the PC basically has been back compat for the last 20 years. So I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there, but I also, I just don't think preservation has the right, like to tell other people what they should do with their IP and their creations. They're the ones that paid for it, created it, and made it. It's up to them, right? If they never want to release it again, that's their prerogative.
Yeah, it's difficult and it sucks because there are a lot of games that I want to play that's from back in the day. Like the Chronicles of Riddick game, I love. I absolutely love that game, but it's hard to play it now. Like you have to
Clock Tower.
Have a PC copy of it. Clock Tower is another example.
And then all of a sudden being taken off and never been able to, there's literally no way to access this show. And that is the owner's right. Of course it is, but not fair to the people who have poured their work into it, who've poured their hearts into it. It's their art. It's their work. Cannot access, cannot share it. Cannot be accessed again legally for research purposes. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah.
I think that all art forms deserve to be preserved, even if they're bad, whether one person worked on it or 10,000 people worked on it.
Yeah. And I think the core difference is I think what the Video Game Foundation is currently doing, to me, counts as preservation, right? They are amassing a catalog of physical hardware and media. Like but we also want to make them available electronically and virtually to the world. Like that's a little bit more than preservation. That's distribution, right? That's not preservation. That's distribution. And I think there's a legal case to be made. I see both sides.
What is preservation if nobody can access it?
But you can go there if you want. It's like a museum. Like you can go there and see it. Like I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right? Like I got to see Michael Jackson's glove. I don't get the right to hold it. I can't go grab it and take it home with me or anything like that, right? Like there is a little bit difference. I think there's varying degrees here to what counts as preservation. Like if you really are like, I want all art to be preserved, you have that right. You can buy a Nintendo Entertainment System, start collecting cartridges. I don't know if I fully agree with we should have the right to put them on a digital server so everybody else can do the same thing. Like I think that may be a step too far under the guise of preservation.
Okay.
That's why I wonder if streaming gets me over my hurdle with it, like how I think about it, I guess.
Streaming might be the key.
Because it's like you're not giving people the right to take it and keep it or possibly do something else with it on their own. We're already seeing a lot of if you Google or YouTube some emulation, there's all kinds of people selling little PCs or flash sticks or arcade cabinets that have thousands of games that they have no rights to distribute. And at some point there will be litigation to stop that, I imagine. Like somewhere Capcom is going to sue somebody. Like, hey, you can't sell Street Fighter.
I feel like if these games were readily accessible somewhere, then it would not be as incentivizing for people to do that because people would be able to access them through legitimate means. Of course,
I think
people who are ignorant and buy them anyway, but just because they don't know. But
I just think if you make it easier to get the source, I think it just empowers the people that want to sell emulation boxes and stations and things. I think they just do more of that.
They already are. They already do it. I think that if there's a legitimate way to buy or play these games without pirating it, I think the majority of people would do so.
Of course. And the buying is a whole separate thing, right? Like I would 100% be against the Video Game Foundation selling ROMs. Like you can't sell.
No. But that's not what I'm talking about.
I know. Right, but if Nintendo isn't going to do it, right? Like there's like a pressure or a desire for somebody else to do it. I guess the fundamental difference that I really feel like I have against how most gamers feel about this is I just don't feel like it's right for anybody to make Nintendo do it. It's their IP. If they don't want to have their IP available that way, it's up to them.
That's true. But I would rather it be available for everybody to play. You know,
of course.
Because I'm one of the people who kind of suffer from it. Like, you know, Donnie knows I bought an arcade stick that has all the games on it because I love playing those classic arcade games. And it had like Michael Jackson Moonwalker, and it has G.I. Joe the arcade game, and that's kind of, and you can't find these games anywhere else unless you kind of go on Amazon or download the ROM and kind of do it the shady way.
Hang on, and I forgot I was about to say that. My answer to the next question is emulation, and it may be what I really copy of the game, and you have to prove that you've dumped it. But maybe it's like, hey, after 30 years or whatever, if you're emulating a game, as long as you're not distributing or selling it, you're totally in the clear. Like just empowering emulation a little bit more, I think would be fine. But distributing and selling emulation, that's where it gets.
No. We don't. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying to distribute and sell what's not theirs. But I think that first thing that you said is completely reasonable.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's totally fine. Like, hey, if you want to set up, Launchbox or whatever and play some game from, 30 years ago, like you're totally in the clear.
Yeah. Agreed.
Do crimes.
Do crimes. Do all the crimes, everybody.
All of them.
There was a limited run games showcase that took place this week. I was very upset that I did not know about this ahead of time. I'm usually very on top of these showcases.
No one apparently did.
It was very poorly marketed. I saw people talking about the announcements, and I'm like, that's odd because I follow limited run games. I should have known about this.
I do
felt
too.
Very, very upset that I didn't get to tune in for it live.
I'm on their mailing list. And I didn't get a response after it was over.
I got no email or nothing.
Yep, same. I looked back and I saw that I got an email an hour before it started, and I'm like, okay, well, I didn't see it within an hour.
I got a recap email. I got a here's everything we just announced. Yeah, I didn't.
That's
even
what
get
I
anything
got.
leading up to it.
What is this?
Some of these are games that already are out but got physical version, or that are getting physical versions of them, and some of them are new announcements. So I'm just going to read it off. Stop me if you want to talk about it. Okay. The Castlevania Advance Collection is coming to Switch and PS4 on July 28th.
Physically. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Rise of the Triad Ludicrous Edition is coming everywhere.
Sure.
I can't say all these words, Donnie. What is Kumaju Remelia? Scarlet Symphony is coming to Switch.
Never heard.
The Making of Karateka. Yeah, I swear to God, you just made up all of these names. Is coming
I should start
Switch,
just putting
PS4,
in made
PS5.
up.
You should, and I would believe it too. Just see what ridiculous things I try to pronounce. Like this one, the Kyakuku. What the heck? Whatever. I'm skipping over to the ones that I know what they are. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Complete Edition is coming to Switch.
Okay.
There is seldom a game that I would hear and think what a worse fit for Switch than a Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Why?
When I've played my entire life, I've played Roller Coaster Tycoon with like a mouse. Like on PC, like just imagining playing
controls.
I don't know, like maybe it does, but just the idea of playing that on a Switch just doesn't equate. It does not compute in my head.
Okay, here's one. Chicory, A Colorful Tale. I'm wearing the shirt right now. I have it digitally on Switch, but I think I will be tempted into buying the physical version of it because I love the aesthetic of this game. Great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Shantae Advance Risky Revolution is coming to Game Boy Advance. We have some interest in this one. Can I read Hobie's question?
Certainly.
This is coming from Way Forward. He says, I love the Shantae games and was very happy to see the Shantae Advance announcement. However, I have mixed feelings about seeing it announced as exclusive for now to the Game Boy Advance cartridge. Oh, this is literally coming out physically
they are
on
releasing
Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
I want to play the game to show my support of its development, so I will be buying it at some point. my question to you all is, how have your experiences with making purchases through Limited Run? If there's much hassle involved in ordering something through Limited Run, it's very reliable. Sometimes, though, Hobie, it takes a
Easy.
hell of a long
Gonna
time
wait
to
a
get to you.
long time.
You're gonna
Yeah.
order it, and you're gonna forget that you ordered it.
By the time
someday
you-
it's gonna
Yes.
show up at your
Get
house.
that Game Boy cartridge, you'll be able to buy it digitally on Switch.
Yes.
Yeah, it just so it's very reliable, very smooth, very good, customer support. But yes, it takes forever and a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool
Also,
that they're putting out a
some of
Game
the-
Boy Advance game. I dig that.
For those who don't know, they sell digital limited run games at Best Buy. So there's
Mhm.
something that you want that's out already. You just go to Best Buy. It's right there.
Mhm.
They usually get a limited print run.
Yo, I'm going to the Limited Run physical store this summer.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's gonna
Mhm.
be cool. That's awesome.
That is
Mhm.
cool. Was it in Carolina?
Yeah, it's in Raleigh. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
wanting to go there.
Huh.
I haven't been over there in a bit.
Yeah. I could get you something if you want something from there. Let me know.
Mm.
Make a shopping list. I'll get it for you.
Okay.
Here, this one was pretty popular. I'm very excited about this. Arzette, the Jewel of Faramore, is coming everywhere. Do you know what this game is?
Not even a little bit.
It's a
Not even close.
spiritual successor to the Zelda CDI games.
Oh, wow.
It is.
Oh,
Yeah, it looks exactly the same. They got a couple of the same voice actors as like the girl who played Zelda in Wand of Gamelon or whatever.
those
I
games are terrible.
unironically am very excited for this game
That's all I've heard my entire life is how terrible the games are. And then they make a spiritual
if you
successor.
wouldn't even call them a
Can't
game.
Wait.
because I think there is a very niche population of people. I am one of them who unironically
tortured.
loves the aesthetic of it's like almost like it's become such a meme, the CDI games, that like I'm all
I get
about
that.
it. And
Okay.
like I want to play a modern take of this, like that's like actually probably very well loved in its creation.
Cool.
I will definitely buy Arzette. Very excited. Nightmare in This Way Madness Lies is coming to Switch and PS5. Midnight Fight Express, Colossal Cave,
Ton
Another
of Switch.
Crusade, Gargoyles
Run, man.
Remastered.
Yeah, you got to be excited about Gargoyles, Delvin.
Yes,
I thought so.
the original game. I think it was on Super NES and Game Boy. I think
Yeah, I
they
don't
were
know.
they were
I
they
never
were
played the
really
game.
good.
I remember the cartoon. I never played the video game.
Cartoon was awesome. Cartoon was
cartoon was
legit
good.
awesome.
Mhm.
The games were pretty solid, from what I remember. The Disney games for SNES and NES and Game Boy are really solid games. The Lion King was really good. Darkwing Duck was really good. The DuckTales one is awesome.
So when I think of those licensed games, I think Genesis. Do these not come to Genesis?
I think they did too. The Genesis ones were
Okay.
usually the best, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, when I think of Lion
I don't-
King and things like that, I always just think Genesis. I didn't play them. I didn't even have a
Yeah,
Genesis.
the Latin
but
was really good.
whatever in my head. Maybe it's marketing or magazines or I don't know. But when I think of those like games, I just think of a Genesis cart.
I do remember I used to love that the Genesis games were very different than the SNES games. And I thought that was always
They
really
were
cool.
they were like different games.
Mm.
Like completely different games.
Mhm. Jurassic Park Classic Games Collection. I didn't even know there were Jurassic Park video games.
Sean is very
What?
excited. Apparently, you can be
Oh.
playing the game as if you were a character.
A raptor as you playing a game like as your character. I think you used to
Oh,
like
that
do
is
soft puzzles.
when
and stuff
when
on
he
the board.
showed a commercial and I saw playing a raptor. I was like, "Do you get to be the bad guy?" I was like, "I'm totally gonna buy this game," but then I watched it. And I was like, "Oh, I don't think you're actually like
don't-
killing the campers."
I don't remember it being that
And
good.
that was disappointing.
But it's been a while since I
Mm.
played it.
Here's one that Donnie is most excited about is Clock Tower.
1,000%.
Is,
Amazing.
getting a revival. I know you are very excited about that game.
Me
I
too.
will buy the most expensive edition that they allow me to buy, and then I will buy it digitally on every platform possible.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played the SNES version. The one I played was the PlayStation 1 version, which I loved
Clock
a
Tower
lot.
2 on PlayStation
Yes.
1. It was most people the same. I know I same, yeah. Clock Tower 2 is the first game I ever played. I have the ROM for Clock Tower on Super Nintendo. There was a fan translated version of it that I put on my Super Nintendo Mini. So I have this.
Huh.
It plays like a click and point adventure on Super Nintendo plays. It's not is not as good. But I do appreciate like, and it's very different too. Like aesthetically, everything is very different. It's not like a better port of the game. Completely different games. So I'm excited though to have like an official re-release. I'm just excited. I'm most excited just to hear Sunsoft use the Clock Tower IP again. Just has me so
Yes.
optimistically hopeful that more is to come. Like very putting me in a dangerous place of, unfounded hope. MVG created this Carbon engine that Limited Run is using to make all these re-releases. And if you go and look up Carbon engine on the Limited Run website, at the bottom of their supported platforms, it says PlayStation coming soon. And I just have to hope. I have to hope that if Clock Tower Super Nintendo, that'll be one of the PlayStation re-releases that they use for Carbon engine, is they'll do Clock Tower to like the PlayStation.
I'll definitely find it.
And if anybody feels confused, it's kind of like Final Fantasy thing. They released Clock Tower on Super Nintendo in Japan. Then when they released Clock Tower in the West on PlayStation, it was Clock Tower 2, but they just called it Clock Tower because the first one never arrived.
Yes.
But I will always call it Clock Tower 2 just to kind of differentiate the two.
Mm-hmm.
I would lose so much money if they were ever re-release Clock Tower 2. Like so much money. So I'm hopeful. This gives me hope.
Scissor Man's an awesome bad guy.
It's been 23 years since we've seen an official release of anything related to Clock Tower. It's been almost 30 since this Clock Tower game came out. It's been so long. I've spent so many years ROMing, hacking. I was playing Clock Tower on my alley. I have kept Clock Tower ROMs for Clock Tower 1, 2, and 3 so near and dear to my heart. Preserved in my Google Drive for decades.
If they were just released naturally streaming on your home consoles, you would never have had to do that.
I wouldn't have had to. You're right. And I'm hoping that at least Sunsoft is going to fix this. I lost my mind. I lost my mind when I saw this announcement.
I heard you.
I didn't even know this was going on. I literally opened Twitter to post questions for PSVG, and the first thing I saw
Clock Tower.
Clock Tower remaster. I was like, holy shit.
I heard you screaming from afar. Do we care about Tomba? What the heck is Tomba?
I was told that people care a great deal about Tomba. I have never played
Tomba? What's Tomba?
It's like a platformer game. I think it was on PS1 at one point too. People
got pink hair.
I never really played it.
He's like a little cave boy with pink hair.
Yeah. I have never played it, but we were talking about it on PSVG, and Sean was telling me that our buddy Jace in particular is like really excited, but there's a lot of people that are very excited about Tomba.
Okay.
Yes.
It's an open world Metroidvania with RPG elements. That sounds cool. And then the Gex trilogy. Who would have thought that in the year of our Lord 2023 that Gex would come back?
Gex is back, baby.
Gex is back.
Gex is back.
And I feel like this is one that what was it? Scott the Wise was like Gex baby, and like it's become like a meme, and like now it's back.
Secret Agent Gex. Yeah, that was a thing.
I remember Gex. I mean, it's a game definitely from that time where you had Croc and Spyro. Right, and they were all doing that. Now, I don't think I remember like the earliest iterations of Gex. I definitely remember 3D platforming Gex, which I think is Gex 3. But I'm not sure. But I think what I remember is Gex 3. Do I want to rebuy them and play them? No, I do not.
No.
But I remember them.
Gex came out around the time where everybody had to have their own mascot based off an animal.
Sure.
And it was just like, there was Gex, Crash Bandicoot. There was something that
made
it,
this
something
just
that didn't.
James Bond? Like Gex,
I
like
think
he's
the
just
sequel,
like he's James Bond. Like he's just like a
the sequel is James Bond,
agent.
but the first one's kind of just like a regular platformer with just a gecko.
Oh. Okay. I see. It's like deep cover gecko, and there's like a human woman on it with like a gun.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I think they were doing like marketing. I remember that in like magazines, like the Gex, like at the suit and the, I think it was like a marketing.
Okay, cool. Happy for the Gex fans out there. Yeah, there's a lot of them actually. Well, let's see how many people put their money where their mouth is and actually buy Gex after memeing on it for the past 10 years. Let's hit some quick headlines before we jump into this week's questions directly from you. Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince will have 1 save slot per Switch account. Oof. To play against each other online, each player needs to have their own copy of the game. I hate that 1 save slot per Switch account. Animal Crossing does that. It's no good. EA
Football Club.
Help me out. Football Club 24 will use Frostbite Engine and Ultimate Team. Talk to me about that, Donnie.
Yeah, so for years, EA has been putting out Football Club or FIFA on Switch, but it's always been last generation FIFA. It wasn't like feature complete, and they lost the FIFA license, which is why now they call it Football Club. With the release of Football Club on Switch this year, it'll be in Frostbite Engine, which is a first, and it will have Ultimate Team, which is a first for Switch.
What's Ultimate
Team? So it'll be
Team?
kind of parity complete or feature complete with the other consoles.
What's Ultimate Team?
Ultimate Team is EA's money-making business and has been for several years now with all their sports games, where you like
buy cards,
digital packs, like cards of characters in the game, and you build your own team out of the cards that you collect, and then you play online with those. And there's like a trading thing. There's different versions of athletes. There's like the gold version is like super, super strong and fast, and there's like the regular version.
That sounds horrible.
Oh, they make so much money. Like that is their business right now. Yeah.
It's
With
microtransactions
Madden and all that and NBA.
right?
That is how they make
it's
money.
super microtransactions.
So it's pay to win. I hate pay to win.
Yeah, well, the people that play
2K does the same thing.
Yeah, they love it.
But 2K makes billions off of it. Literally billions off of it.
So much. They'd give you the game for free just so you get into Ultimate Team.
People really get into Ultimate Team.
It's just like Grand Theft Auto Online. Like they'll give you GTA 5 just so you start playing GTA Online because that's where they make their money.
Yeah.
Yes.
EU regulators.
It's interesting to see the EU just go into war with folks. They made Apple change their charger.
Yes, I was just talking to my parents about that. I've been waiting to upgrade my phone because I want the USB-C, the universal charger, the stupid lightning cord. Like I don't want to have to upgrade my phone and then use the lightning cable for the next 5 years.
My iPad has the USB-C.
Yeah.
Over the lightning.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, now they're like, nope, you got to have a replaceable battery. None of this crap anymore. Yeah.
Thank you, EU regulators, for looking out for all of us.
Yeah. They did something right finally.
We are it's like
sorry, it's like the homeowners association. It's like somebody got in charge of like the regulators, and then like they're just going to war over like these very like good things, but minor things. You're like, hey, your mailbox isn't painted the right color. We need one charger, okay? It's like somebody opened their junk drawer and they're like, why do I have all these chargers? I'm running to be the head of the regulated department.
Yeah, good. Somebody's got to do it. I don't have the energy to do it, so I'm glad somebody does it.
Yeah.
We're at the halftime for this month's Splatoon 3 Splatfest, where the teams are what ice cream flavor is best, vanilla, strawberry, or mint chip. Vanilla is slightly in the lead right now in halftime. What? What do you mean none of the above?
Which ice cream is best?
What's wrong with you?
None of these are the best ice cream.
No, out of the 3 of them, which one?
Right.
Do you
I
like
know how Splatfest work, but in my head, when you're like, which one is the best? I'm like, none of these options. I'm a butter pecan fan.
Okay, but that's not one of the teams.
Right. No, strawberry out of these. I would be team strawberry.
Okay.
I like strawberry.
I picked team. I picked team vanilla.
I like French vanilla.
There's nothing wrong with vanilla.
French vanilla's really good.
Just as long as we are in agreement, no mint chip, then we're good.
Oh, I can't stand chocolate mint anything ever.
Yeah, no bueno.
I hate that exists.
No bueno. Same. Thank you. Oh, I've had lemon water ice before, but I've never had lemon ice cream.
I've had lemon water ice too. I've never heard of lemon ice cream.
Yeah. Interesting.
Huh.
The Famicom, which is the NES in Japan, turns 40 years old as of yesterday. I was doing my math before when I was typing this. I typed in 30 because I was trying to do the math like 1983. I'm like, oh, it turns 30. And then I'm like, wait a second. The 80s were not 30 years ago. We're old.
Mm-hmm.
We're very old, Delvin.
On that conveyor belt.
This is true.
We're all just heading towards the end. It's not stopping.
Yeah.
That means the Famicom could have a midlife crisis right now.
Yeah.
Probably is having one.
It's about to
Probably.
cash out its 401k for a weekend in Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It would not come to the to North America for 2 more years, I believe. So we're not that old yet. Pikmin 4 releases this Friday, July 21st. Reviews come out this week. What are you hoping to see review-wise?
Oh, I don't care. I'm just excited to
You're
play
already
more
sold.
of the, I'm just gonna play more of the game.
Are you a Pikmin fan, Sunny D?
I haven't played Pikmin since I want to say GameCube.
Yeah.
My son's picking it up though. I think he's super excited for it. It's been a while since I played Pikmin.
Yeah.
Looks cool.
Yeah. I'm playing it for review. I'm having a good time. Check out my review this week. It's my
It's
first
somewhere in the
true
80s
Pikmin
sounds
game.
probably right. I mean, I don't think Pikmin will ever get too. I don't think video game critics will ever be too excited for Pikmin.
I think it'll be mid to high
I think
8.
you're correct on that.
Yeah.
Lots of 7s and 8s.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I think there will be more 8s. Yeah. I think that 7s will come from people who don't really get it.
But I mean, yeah, I'm sold
Which
after
is
the
not
demo.
totally fair.
The demo was great.
Yeah.
Looks great. Beautiful. Can't wait to play.
All right, Donnie, hit us with some questions.
Kyle the
directly
Pug
from
says,
you.
how would you create your perfect Splatfest for Splatoon 3? His would be popular favorite pizza toppings versus each other.
The best Splatfests have been, in my opinion, the ones that are crossovers from other games. The most fun ones have been the Pokemon Splatfest, where you are picking whether you want a grass, fire, or water type starter.
Yep.
And the Zelda Splatfest, where you choose wisdom, power, or courage. The rest of them suck.
I would put fandoms against each other. I think that's what Nintendo is sorely
the
lacking
idea.
out on, is I would license this out as a marketing gimmick and just reap tons of money. I would have like WWE versus AEW versus WCW, or Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, right? Or Ferrari, Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, or F1 teams, or NFL teams, or baseball teams. I would, like, anytime when there was the playoffs, I would have the NBA finals, right? Like if
brilliant.
anytime, I would just do that constantly. If it were me. So I would just find anything that has a lot of fans, anything that people feel very tribal over, right? Last of Us 3 comes out, man, I'd have Last of Us 3 versus 2 versus 1. I would just license PlayStation's games in my Splatfest.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Everybody come do war. Come fight the console wars. Yeah, I would do console wars. Oh my God. Absolutely.
That works. That's
PlayStation,
brilliant.
Xbox, or Sega. We're
How
going to find it out
many-
right here in Splatoon 3.
How many PlayStation and Xbox fans do you think would buy a Switch and
A lot.
Splatoon just to
A lot.
A lot.
scream about their console?
100% a lot would.
That's the moneymaker, Nintendo.
Yeah. What plays games the best? PlayStation 5, PC, or Xbox Series X? Splatfest on Nintendo Switch this Friday. Man, the servers would
Yes.
break.
Yeah, they would. That's funny. That was very funny.
Delvin?
I agree with Donnie. Donnie has the
Okay.
best answer. I can't even contend with that. That's an amazing answer. Yeah, I love it. Like, just go up like a Freddy versus Jason.
Yes.
Go.
100%.
Just every month, just do a new cool one. Yeah, I dig it. That's a great
It didn't even
idea.
have to be that.
They should
that-
do that.
Yeah, it didn't even have to be that hard. Have they ever done like heads or tails? Or like rock, paper, scissors? Like,
Yeah, they did rock, paper, scissors.
That's
Yeah, like
actually
you-
smart.
yeah, you could just get away
Yeah.
with like what they do is dumb. Ketchup or mayonnaise? Who the fuck? This is ridiculous. Like, we can do
Who cares
so
about
much
rock,
versus
paper,
better.
dog.
scissors? I don't care about that.
We could do so much better. We can do
Yeah,
so
totally.
much better. So much
So I
better.
mean, like vanilla. Like I can't get excited about vanilla ice cream, strawberry ice cream.
If
Like,
you're
I
gonna do
can't-
ice cream, what at least do like the Neapolitan Wars. Chocolate, vanilla versus strawberry.
But they already had a
Mint
chocolate.
That makes
Splatfest,
sense.
That's why.
You know. Yeah.
Did they have Cats versus Dogs Splatfest yet?
Yeah, they
think
had
so.
that forever ago.
Yeah. I think
First
they did
game.
that one.
Yeah.
See, now you got to do it in
See?
trios. They have 3 teams now, Delvin. They got to do it in trios. Trios championship.
So cats, dogs, raccoons.
Raccoon, Team Raccoon all the time. Yeah.
Oh, which
Trash
which
pandas.
which trash panda do
Yeah.
you like the best? Raccoons, possums, or skunks?
See, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like
Team
like
possum
raccoons
all
the
way.
best.
Team
I see
possum.
Raccoons are
possums
going to
all
win
the
most
time.
things.
They're so cute and they're
I see
so good for the environment. They eat all the bad bugs, Delvin.
I'd put cities against each other. I'm like, who should host the next
Possible.
Olympics? Right? And just put 3 cities in, and the cities don't even
It's gonna
know that
cause
they're
a
in
war.
it. Yeah, they don't even know that they're in it. They're like, what the fuck?
It's gonna cause nuclear war.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. That's exactly what I would do. It just seems like whoever comes up with this is boring as possible. You know, it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Spagoop says, if you could choose any character to get into Mario Kart DLC, who would it be and why? Delvin,
Mario, any character.
any character.
Just 'cause I think it'll be funny. Sweet Tooth
Okay,
Twisted Metal.
that's good.
What's that? What's that? Who is that?
Twisted Metal.
from Twisted
Oh.
Twisted Metal.
I think
the
that's good.
PlayStation video game that's going to have a
Sweet.
TV show in a couple of weeks now.
A terrible TV show.
Looks
but
terrible.
yeah.
Not even a video game?
Terrible.
It's a
No, it is a
clown.
video,
video
game.
game.
Fire
Twisted Metal
hair.
is a video game. It's a kart racer.
It's
Yes, it's a kart
he's
racer.
Scary looking.
Of course.
Yeah, that's
His
the
name should
point.
not be Sweet Tooth.
Just-
Oh, Sweet Tooth is the best.
Yeah,
You've never played Twisted Metal?
I've never even heard of
You've
Twisted Metal. I
never
don't
heard
like
of
it.
Twisted Metal?
No,
You have any
I'm
fucking
sorry
idea
that
how
I
old
heard
this
about
makes
it.
me
I don't-
feel?
I want to go back in
Oh my
time
God.
2 minutes and not have heard of it.
Every time we do Shaq now, this is Rebecca making me feel older.
that did it.
That's all this
Twisted Metal was
podcast is
hugely
now.
popular.
It was huge.
Yeah, Twisted Metal was they have a TV show coming up. That's how huge it was at one point.
Ah,
Oh yeah, I'm old.
I loved Twisted Metal back in the day.
It was great.
I like that you went to another kart racer. I didn't even think to do that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's the first thing that popped in my mind. Like, hey, Twisted Metal, that would be
Very
cool. in Mario
Yeah, no,
Kart.
I appreciate it because I mean, in your vein, like you could do, Crash Team Racing or something like that. Like I just didn't go to kart racer. That wasn't what I was thinking. That's good.
I'm gonna get in trouble here. I don't care about the characters in Mario Kart. Characters are for Smash. I don't care about what character I'm playing as in Mario Kart. I care
Oh.
more about the vehicles and I care more about I care most about the courses. I'll play as any character. Just put me on a good course.
I like Luigi.
I'm a Yoshi.
They just
stan.
don't play differently enough. There's different weight classes, but the individual characters don't play differently.
I wish
enough
they
for
get
me
rid
to
of the weight
care.
classes. Because you play competitively online, there is like an advantage tier. There's like a tier that's just better,
Sure.
and most everybody
Sure.
plays with that. I would like to get rid of that. Allow
Yes.
all characters to be equal.
That's a good point.
I just want chaos, so I'm going to say Dom Toretto.
Oh, that is great.
Fast and the
Dom
Furious.
from
Vin
Fast and
Diesel
Furious.
is here in cart. Like he just shows up in the Charger.
Yes. Let me ask the question. Is it just the Charger
Vin Diesel?
or is it the Charger with Dom's head sticking out of it?
That's either. Yeah, I'm down for either. But yeah, I would go for just the Charger. But like on like just like you have the Luigi Death Stare from like the side, right? Like when you get the
Yeah.
side camera, you see him in there, like he's like looking over. He's like looking over his arm. That's what I would do. You could do Brian too. I would just have Fast and Furious. Can you imagine how popular Mario Kart would pop off if they had Fast and Furious DLC at the time the next movie drops?
Yeah, Fast and Furious actually being a good game for once. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. I have an answer in the same
Mm-hmm.
vein as what y'all are talking about. I want, as a racer, Penelope Pitstop from Wacky Races.
That would be incredible.
Oh,
Yep.
that'd
No,
be great.
I like that answer too. Great
There you
answer.
go. Thank
I
you.
used to love that show.
Thank you.
G-Man says, what would make great DLC for a game that released a few years ago?
Mario Party Superstars. That game is all about taking old game boards and old mini games, and there are 10, 12 Mario parties to choose from. It is a sin that game only has 5 boards.
Good answer. I think it's a sin that Mario Strikers is as lame as it is. So anything
DLC
to like
could not
make
help
that
that game.
better, I don't think
DLC would not fix that game.
Can we get Astral Chain? Anything?
Mm-hmm.
That would be incredible. I love that game so much. Why we've never? Is that just it? It's just dead forever?
Sequel? Maybe a sequel's coming?
I hope so. I love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like Donnie tricking a 40. I love it.
Mad Dog, buddy.
I'm going to go with an old game that I like that was on Switch, but they just never really did anything with it. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Does it go on?
It just kind of came out and went. Like it's like a Switch exclusive. Like, yeah, y'all probably should did more with this. Like this is a cool exclusive to have, but it kind of just came and went.
They were like, people love superheroes. Let's get something in there as soon as possible. Superheroes.
And it's a popular franchise, but it just kind of just died. Like here it is.
The game wasn't that.
We're done with it.
Okay, but it wasn't that great either. I don't think it lived up to the hype or the expectations of the Ultimate Alliance games in the past either. So that's probably a big reason why. I think Nintendo just wanted to have some superhero content. They didn't have Batman. They didn't have Superman. Like none of these games are coming out for Switch at the time, so they were like, we need a superhero game. But it's a good answer. G-Man said he would have wanted Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
Oh, that's a good answer.
He says because it's a port of a Wii U game and maybe adding 3 more worlds or something to make up for the lack of content. I mean, you're right. I would love more Tropical Freeze. I didn't finish Tropical Freeze. Is tough game. I don't know if I would have seen the rest. But they did have was it Cranky Kong or whatever? Like they did have something.
Funky Kong. They added a funky mode.
That's right. That's it. Funky mode. Nick writes in again. Second question: is there a Switch game you would actually like to see get ported, deluxe, upgraded, re-released on the next Nintendo console?
Ported all of them. I want to play all my Switch games.
Is there like a DX re-release or something, like an upgraded port that you want to come to the next console?
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, I think that's the only one that immediately comes to mind. It was like, yeah, you want 60 FPS in Tears of the Kingdom. Like that's the upgrade you want. I don't want to buy that I don't want to spend $70 on that. But that would be the one that I think would need it most. That's the one that could benefit most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be different, I'll say Smash Brothers.
You want like a
everything
release?
on the cartridge.
Yeah. Everything on the cartridge. Here it is. And we'll just add in Waluigi. Like here you go.
I think they might do something with Smash like that for the next system, where they're like, here is all of the game, all the DLC with and an extra fighter pass, like 1 or 2 more, just to kind of sell it. I think that could be something we see.
I think they'll do that for Smash, and I think y'all are going to hate me. I think they're going to do that for Mario Kart. I think they're going to say, here's Mario Kart Definitive Edition with every.
I love it so much, and I don't ever want to play it again. It's like, enough already. Yeah. We get it. Please stop. Do anything different. At this point, I want 8-bit Mario Kart. Anything at all. Just do something different. For the love of God. 2D Mario Kart. Right? Let's make it a side scroller. I don't care. Do something else.
Mario Kart with RPG elements.
Oh man, so much
turn-based racing.
I've played so much Mario Kart. I don't think if I've played a game like in the last decade more than that. It's probably that. But if you counted all my hours from Wii U and Switch and everything, like just so much Mario Kart 8. Mm-hmm. Great game. Just ready for anything new.
Move on from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we are though.
I hope we are. I hope you're wrong. I'm gonna vote on that you're wrong. I think they've been holding the next Mario Kart back.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
That's why they've been pumping life into Mario Kart 8 because
they got a lot of teams. They can do a lot of things at once. They can do multiple things.
They're like,
I hope
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That is the Nintendo motto. And a lot of times they give them respect too, because they could have come out with Switch and just released a new one, but they were like, no, Mario Kart's great. We'll just release that again. And they were right. And then they made a bajillion amounts of money. So yeah. I don't think that would go over that well on Switch 2 though. I think Switch 2 people would be like, no, we need new Mario Kart. We'll see.
Maybe. I'm trying to think who is buying Mario Kart. Like,
yeah, I feel like the Switch was so successful, it sold so much. I don't think the reaction would be like super positive. They were like Mario Kart Deluxe. I don't think people be like, no. You need a little bit more than just the DLC courses. I think what'll happen is I think Mario Kart 8 will be backwards compatible and you'll still be able to play that, and then eventually they'll come out with Mario Kart
eventually.
Whatever. Yeah.
Eventually is a big word.
Now Mario Kart 8's in 4K. Yeah. Love it.
Our final question comes from Yarden. He says, "You finally made it to Shaq. How are you feeling right now? Now all we need is that long delayed DLC episode."
I'm digging it. I feel like this is the episode for me to be on. There's a lot of stuff that I know a lot about. So yeah, this was dope.
Hell yeah.
We talked about game preservation. We talked about Oxenfree. Yeah,
you got to come back more often, Delvin.
You take my spot.
I'd be happy to. This was great.
I'm here. I think you do that. Teach you how to post the episode.
Donnie's trying to get off this show.
He's looking for a way
may have found my replacement.
Yes.
Finally.
Don't have to deal with this bullshit anymore. Delvin, you got to come back sometime. We love you here.
Yeah, I'll come back.
This was very good. Before you jumped on here, I was like, I need Delvin's positive energy. Like, I feel like I love you, Donnie, but like, you're not Delvin.
Yeah. I get it. Sure. I get it. I podcast with him and Dev every week, so I get it.
You get it, yeah.
You're like, fuck this game. Like, I kind of like it. Shut up, Delvin.
It's because you love everything.
Put a positive spin on everything. You can like take like freaking.
He does. No, it's not a can. He does. He's here telling us how great Man of Medan is and just shit like that. Like, no, it's not. Great.
Sports Story came out. Delvin's like,
Corey.
Yeah, ambitious.
Yeah. Delvin's like, nope. Get that shit out of here.
So fast. You're not gonna get away with this.
Take that positivity to Shaq. We don't want it here on PSVG.
We love Shaq. We love spread the love, spread the joy. No, this was good. Thank you for joining us, Delvin. We're glad to have you here. Anytime you want to jump on and talk Nintendo, we are here for you. Anything else before we head out for this week?
I can't think of anything.
Cricket. We will on next Sunday. We will talk about Pikmin scores, first impressions for anything past the demo, and whatever other news comes this week.
Do crimes.
Take care, Koopalings. See you next week.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening, and I forgot the line already. What?